A powerful explosion occurred in an apartment building in Khanty-Mansiysk. 4 people were injured, but there were no fatalities. 5 apartments were destroyed, according to the Ministry of Emergency Situations. The fire has now been extinguished and the causes are being investigated. According to media reports, it could have been a domestic gas explosion. 35 residents have been evacuated from the building. A temporary accommodation center has been set up for them. On RBC, the main news. In the studio, Marina Lapteva. Easing of Washington's sanctions in exchange for limiting its nuclear program. This is what Iran sought during indirect negotiations with the U.S. in Oman, reports the Wall Street Journal, citing sources. It is noted that the Iranian economy has been literally paralyzed by restrictions related to the atomic sector. The country also hopes to gain access to billions of dollars that are frozen abroad. In return, the states are ready to return to the nuclear agreements of 2015. At that time, Tehran was specifically required to reduce the amount of enriched uranium by 98% over 15 years. The New York Times writes that the U.S. delegation in Oman did not demand their counterparts to completely abandon uranium enrichment. The leader of the American group, the president's special representative, Steve Witkoff, suggested to Iran not to use the existing material as a weapon. The head of the White House himself positively assesses the first round of negotiations with Hamas for the last time.
I think everything is going well. I can't say much more because nothing matters until you achieve the final goal. That's why I don't like to speak in advance. But so far, everything is going well with Iran.
The first round of negotiations took place the day before. It helped to bring the views of the U.S. and Iranian delegations closer. This was stated by the foreign minister of Oman. Tehran calls the recent negotiations constructive. The second meeting will take place on April 19th, also in Oman, as stated by Iran's foreign minister Abbas Araghchi. Yesterday, the discussions included Iran's nuclear program and sanctions against the country. According to the foreign minister, Tehran and Washington will discuss the general framework of a possible agreement next week. There always comes a time when you either need to shut up or do what you said. This is how Trump assessed the progress of resolving the Ukrainian conflict.
So we are heading into battle, and there are many battles going on around the world. And I think we are in for a lot of good news regarding these events. And very soon. You know, there are negotiations that are going well. This can probably be said about Russia and Ukraine. You know, there comes a time when you either need to shut up or do what you said. We'll see what happens. But I think everything is going well.
Earlier, Trump urged Russia, quote, to hurry up with reaching an agreement on Ukraine. This Friday, the special envoy of the American leader, Steve Witkoff, flew to St. Petersburg. St. Petersburg. There, President Vladimir Putin held a meeting with him. The conversation lasted more than 4 hours. Putin and Witkoff discussed aspects of the Ukrainian settlement. After this meeting, Kremlin representative Dmitry Peskov allowed for a direct conversation between the Russian president and Donald Trump. In Orenburg, a fire broke out at the Sakhmaskaya thermal power station at night. The open fire has now been extinguished and there are no casualties, according to the Ministry of Emergency Situations. Local media note that a loud bang was heard before the fire. In the city, a bridge was temporarily closed and traffic lights were not working. There were no reports of drones in the region. Preliminarily, the cause of the fire was a short circuit. The Sakhmara CHP plant provides 80% of Orenburg's heating. All residents' bequoths are connected to the power supply, authorities reported. YouTube will implement a daily limit on shorts views. Users will be able to set the time themselves for how long short vertical videos will be blocked. Tech publications found the development of a timer in the code and the latest beta version of the app. Currently, YouTube has a take-a-break reminder, but it only works on full-length videos. A similar feature exists on Instagram and Facebook. They belong to Meta, which is banned and recognized as extremist in Russia, as well as on TikTok. Additionally, you can set limits on apps and disable notifications from them directly in your smartphone settings. The portal TechCrunch notes that interest in apps where you can regulate screen time is only growing. Last summer, YouTube's operation in Russia slowed down. Roskomnadzor cited Google's exit from the country and the cessation of support for the company's servers as the reason. However, the company stated that the slowdown is not related to technical issues or actions by Google.